Hi there. Welcome to another talk from my temple garden. My name is April Aronoff, and I am here to talk with you about the holy day of Imbolc and the holy bee. Today is February 1st. It is the day before the Imbolc holiday. Tomorrow is the actual holy day. If you don't know what Imbolc is the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. And I'll explain to you physically what that is in the sky, and then we'll tie that to the energetics of working with bees, the returning of the sun, and the bursting forth of fertility and new life. So let's back up to the summer solstice. The summer solstice is in about the third week of June, and that is when the sun is at the highest point in the sky. It is the longest day of the year. Then, following that, the days start to slowly get shorter and shorter. Even though it seems like there's still tons of sun, the days do begin to slowly get shorter and shorter until we hit the fall equinox, which is in the third week of September. That is the halfway point between the winter solstice. I'm sorry, it's the halfway point between the summer solstice and the winter solstice. And at that point, the amount of daylight and the amount of nighttime is exactly equal. And then starting from that point forward, the nighttime begins to grow and grow and grow. The nights get longer and longer until finally we hit the winter solstice and we have the longest night of the year. And of course, as we move towards the winter solstice, we start to go inward. It's that time of inner reflection, hibernation, going deep within ourselves, holding ourselves with love and compassion, composting internally that which we don't need, reviewing. All of that stuff happens when we do that inward journey. So that happens at the winter solstice. Then, following the winter solstice, the light begins to return. And it begins to grow and grow until we hit Imbolc, which is that halfway point between winter solstice and the spring equinox. And starting at Imbolc, the light begins to return. The light begins to outweigh, the daylight begins to outweigh the nighttime. So we have this returning of the light that grows and grows and grows until, of course, we hit the spring equinox, which is the bursting forth of spring. So let's talk about how Imbolc is tied to the bees. So, excuse me, I have here a picture. This is, hopefully you can see it. I know there's a glare. This is one of my bees that I have taken a photo of sitting on one of my purple roses. And let me describe to you their behavior right now. So Imbolc in the bee world is also a major turning point. So as it is with humans, as we have this shift of the sun going higher in the sky and the daytime becoming longer, the sun shining brighter, the bees really innately know about that change, and they shift from hibernation, which is what they do during the wintertime. It's not something that you commonly hear that bees hibernate, but they do. They go into a dormancy period. The queen sort of cuts back on how many eggs that she lays. There isn't as much foraging. The nights are longer. They spend a lot more time inside the hive. They do go out, but they spend a lot more time inside the hive, keeping their brood nest warm, keeping themselves warm. And they do go out to forage and gather nectar and pollen, but mostly it's a period of respite and renewal that the bees are going, and as humans are undergoing as well. But then at Imbolc, as it is with all of these earth holidays and the animals and the insects reflected in their behavior, the bees know. And they go overnight from a phase of hibernation to one of fertility. So this first week in February, for those of us that are beekeepers in Northern California, especially in the Bay Area, this is a really pivotal time when all of a sudden the bees begin to massively start to want to reproduce. So the queen begins to start laying eggs much more rampantly. She begins to start filling up a lot of those hexagonal cells with eggs. The entire bee population begins to grow and grow and grow until finally there's a swarming that will happen, which is the bees' desire to populate, to create more bees, create more colonies, which is of course such a blessing right now on the earth. As a beekeeper in the East Bay, that poses a little bit of a problem because it's hard to just let like your bees swarm and just go anywhere. This is not, I don't live in a natural area where they can just go out and move into some tree somewhere. So that's a whole other story of dealing with their desire to want to swarm and repopulate. But this energy, this desire, knowing the light has returned, it is time to lay, it is time to be fertile, it is time to grow. That's the energy that I want to gift to you, that I want to work with you right now. So let's go ahead and set sacred space. We're going to do just a short meditation to drop into our bodies, set a holy space. And then I'm going to take you on a journey where we are going to go into the beehive, merge with the queen, and experience what it's like to be in a state of complete and total surrender to fertility, to creation, and to life. So with that, why don't you go ahead and close your eyes? And as you close your eyes, I will close my eyes. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take some deep breaths. Feel yourself in your body, on the chair or on the floor, wherever you are. Feel yourself making contact with the earth. And let's just take a moment to give thanks to the earth for the magic that is always available to us through the shifting of the sun and the moon, the seasons and the holidays. We are connected to the earth. We are a fractal of her. The more we become in alignment with the shifting and changing of the seasons, with our environment, the more awake and embodied we become, the more we begin to know our own purpose and why we are here. So let us just give a bow of thanks and respect to the earth, to the sun, to the moon, and to all of the energies that create life here on our planet. To the animals and trees, the insects and flowers, to the soil and organisms that live deep within the ground, we give a bow of thanks to you. We are seeing a beautiful pearl grounding cord going from the center of the earth up through this virtual space where you are, where I am, where we are all connected, and it's going to go up into the cosmos and it's going to connect with source. We are seeing ourselves surrounded by a beautiful pearlescent sphere of golden light of the highest vibration. We are perfectly protected, enveloped in love, and we are safe. So from this space, I want you to take a few deep breaths and just surrender. You are one with the divine. Allow the divine to guide you. We call upon the holy bee, that beautiful superorganism that bees carry out so many different functions. They are just like the human body. Each bee is like a cell, doing specific things, carrying information, tending, creating, healing, just like the human body does. And it functions as a unit. So I want you to go ahead right now, and in front of you, I want you to see a beehive, however that presents itself to you. Perhaps it's a hive you've seen in some childhood book, perhaps like one in Winnie the Pooh. Maybe it's a hive in a tree. Maybe it's one like mine. Mine's like a giant set of boxes that make like a rectangle with like a lid on it. But I want you to just go ahead and picture a beehive. And I want you to just stand in front of this beehive and get really quiet and really still. Suddenly, you begin to hear music. It is the most beautiful music. It is, in fact, the humming, the buzzing, and the vibration of the bees. It is resonant. It is a harmonic that fills your body with light. You feel this humming within your cells. You see this frequency around you. And as this beautiful bee song fills the air, fills your ears, your eyes, you can smell it with your nose, you can feel it on your skin. It fills your senses with the most beautiful symphony of resonance. As this bee music begins to fill you up, you begin to grow smaller and smaller and smaller until you are the size of a bee yourself. And this music begins to carry you. It begins to carry you like a wave floating on the air. And you begin to ride this wave of music from where you are, going all the way into the beehive. It beckons you, it pulls, it calls. You surrender fully to this music, and this wave of resonant bee frequency carries you all the way into the hive. And once you are in the hive, stop and be still for a minute. The inner sanctum of a beehive is a holy place. You feel warm and enveloped as bees keep their hive at the same temperature that humans keep their bodies, roughly somewhere between 96 and 98 degrees. The bees are buzzing all around you. They are communicating with you. You innately feel love coming from every single direction. You innately feel care coming from every single direction. They welcome you into their home. And in front of you, you see the bees begin to part. And in this parting of the bees, you see in front of you the queen, the beautiful queen bee, divine mother emanation, she who creates life from her own body. Bees have that beautiful capacity to lay eggs from drones they've mated with, but they can also lay eggs that they create just themselves without having mated. They carry what's called parthenogenesis, the ability to self-reproduce, and they have the ability to lay eggs from mating. That is how holy they are. So this holy queen bee appears in front of you, and she begins to communicate with you just instinctively. You find that you yourself have antennae. You can feel it. You can feel this antenna on the top of your head. And from her antenna to yours, this reciprocity of love begins to be exchanged. And you feel from your heart into hers this tremendous desire to share, this tremendous desire to share fertility, to share life, to share abundance. And this queen bee is communicating with you and letting you know that if you wish to, you can merge with her. So go ahead right now and relax and surrender even further, and very gently, without effort, allow yourself to float again on that beautiful symphony of bee music, up and out of your own body into that of the queen bee. And as you enter her body, you are immediately filled with new sensations. You feel her wings. You feel her legs in the hive. You feel the other bees around you adoring you with love, with adoration. You feel this deep inner purpose to be in service to them, to create life. You feel, even though you are in the hive and really never leave the hive except on that singular journey to mate, you know that outside the sun is suddenly shining brighter in the sky. It is higher in the sky. The days are becoming longer. You know your body is telling you what to do. It is time to lay. It is time to produce. The time of hibernation, of being inward, of self-reflection is over. It is time to build, to create until spring, when life bursts forth. And so as the queen bee, you do just that. You walk over to an empty hexagonal cell, you stick your rear end in there, and lo and behold, you produce an egg. It slides out of your body. This life, this seed comes from you. You and the queen who is gifting you this innate ability to plant a seed, to create an egg that is going to grow into another living being. You are experiencing this in your cells. And you lay that egg and you move over to another empty cell and you stick your butt in and you lay another egg. And then you move to another one and you lay again and again. And you keep going from cell to cell, laying egg after egg. Around you, all of the drones and the worker bees, the other male and female bees, they are tending you, they are caring for you, they are feeding you, they are cleaning you, they are in service to you, you are in service to them. There is no hierarchy in a beehive. You are all equal, and you all have this deep, innate knowing of what to do and what your purpose is. And this purpose of fertility, of creating life, creating seeds, creating eggs, you just know. And as the queen, you continue to lay. So, beloved, just sit with that. Sit with what it feels like to be a queen bee in perfect harmony with the shifting and changing of the sun, of moving from that period of hibernation into one of outward manifestation. Sit with this merging energy. Be quiet for a minute, be still. If there is a message that the queen has for you, receive it now. Hold it in your cells, hold it in your heart. It might be words, it might be sound, it might be a symbol, it might be a knowing. And once you've taken this message in, you and the bee spend a minute in sacred gratitude to one another. She has shared with you and you have shared with her. What a gift. And so now, beloved, it is time for this merging to end. You begin to hear the music again. that beautiful symphony of bee sound, of bee buzzing. And as easily as you merged with the bee, as you floated in, you begin to rise and float out of her. You float on this beautiful buzzing, this frequency of this harmonic back through the hive. The bees are bidding you farewell, and you them. You go back through the hive, out of the warmth of this wonderful womb-like space, out of the entrance in which you came, and you find yourself again standing in front of the hive. You are back to your regular size. You are back to being in your own body, but you are not the same. Within you is this gift of bee wisdom, bee knowledge, of fertility, of the sun, of the shifting from the night to the day. That is alive within you now. And that message that the Queen has shared with you, you will not forget it. So give a bow of thanks and gratitude to the bees for what they have shared with you on this Imbolc holiday. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes. I hope that you enjoyed that journey and that you carry this wisdom into the coming days. The ability to be fertile, the ability to create. Now is the time to start planting those seeds, to start making offerings to the earth. What are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your desires? Maybe you're not sure what they are. All you have to do is make the intention for clarity, and the divine will provide. And as you honor and tend these seeds, these eggs of growth, just like the queen does, just like the hive does, as we move towards spring, they will burst forth, they will germinate, and they will manifest into form. So thank you so much for joining me. I send you many, many blessings. Thank you for joining My Temple Garden. If you enjoyed this video, I have a few others that are on my YouTube channel. I will have more offerings and services available that I will speak to over time. I send you many blessings. Farewell.